Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So I just want to say thanks to everybody that joins me and watches my videos and shares them around. It's very appreciated. I struggle to get any form of traction on my videos. It really can get to me a little bit, but thanks to anybody who does come around and watches my videos, it does really help. Anyway, today on the channel we're going to be looking at Need for Speed Unbound. Now, I picked this up the day after release. I nearly pre-ordered it at the £70, and I'm really glad I didn't, because the day later it was £45. So it literally dropped 25 quid overnight. So in less than 24 hours I got it for £45 and not 70. So automatically that rang some alarm bells in my head, because it's like, why has it been reduced so quickly? Apart from it being in November and you coming up on the run up to Christmas, I was a little bit like, wow, already 25 quid off, what's going on? Anyway, ordered it, got it through and started playing it on the Sunday. Now, a little bit of context. Some of the previews and reviews before the game came out were saying that this game was a return to classic Need for Speed. It was like proper return of the original style of the franchises that you saw on the PS1 and PS2. They played Need for Speed Underground and the classic original Need for Speed games. And so I was like, oh wow, nice. It's something, you know, like they used to make, like the proper Underground type games. And I even remember playing the Underground games on the PS2 and being absolutely amazed by them. I loved Underground. And this was back when it was stiff competition from Burnout, before EA bought Criterion Games, who make Burnout. Now this Need for Speed game is made by Criterion Games. It's not made by Ghost Games. Ghost Games made Payback and Heat, Need for Speed Heat. And I was like, oh cool, it's going to be more of a proper original style Need for Speed game. It's going to be clear, defined, tasks to make this more like a Need for Speed game than it just being anything else. Because Payback very much felt like it was a Forza Horizon clone, and Need for Speed Heat was a little bit more Need for Speedy, but still pretty much like anything else. And I was like, alright, fine, whatever. Now, those reviews saying it was a classic Need for Speed game really stuck in my head, because it gave me that impression that I was into something classic, really. And I put it in and started the game. Now, to begin with, install it, play the first couple of hours, and it felt a little bit fresh. Not greatly fresh, but a little bit fresh. But the thing is literally after the first couple of hours, I went from saying, oh wow, this is awesome, to something's not quite right here. Because it started to just feel, after the first 2 or 3 hours, it started to feel just like Need for Speed Heat with a lick of paint and slight different graphical style. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, what can you do with a racing game, blah blah blah. But it did not feel like a classic Need for Speed game. It felt like Need for Speed Heat 2. It very much felt like they just outsourced to the B team over at Criterion Games. Here, make Need for Speed Heat 2, we'll call it something different. Make it a little bit fancy and it'll sell. That's exactly how that computed in my head. Because the actual game is just Need for Speed Heat with a different graphical style. The races are the same. There's not much difference in things like go and collect these things around the map, do this drift trial, make this jump long, do this, that and the other. What it's not is a classic Need for Speed game. And that literally made me go from this game being awesome to being mediocre. It dropped from probably being a 9 to a 7, if not a little bit less. Now, before anybody jumps on thing, I've only played it for 3 hours, blah blah blah. No, I have actually completed this game all the way to the end and platinumed it. I've done all the online trophies, I've done everything, I've got the platinum, done the lot. All the way to the end of the game, to the finish, everything. The thing is it started to be an insane grind on some of the tasks, and generally I just got bored with it. Now, it is slightly better than Need for Speed Heat, so maybe it's a 7.2, because Heat's probably like a 7. But what it's not is a classic Need for Speed game. These articles and posts out there that were saying this is like Need for Speed Underground, wrong. It's not. It's nothing like it. Like, it's just Need for Speed Heat 2. Like, they haven't done anything different. It's the same game, rinse and repeat out the door. They've not changed much at all. If we want to have Underground and Underground 2 remade, that's what we need, really. We don't want them to be trying to make Need for Speed Underground in a world, this, that and the other. Like, no, we just want Need for Speed Underground remade and be done with it. Or literally take the blueprint for Need for Speed Underground and make a new one. Don't take the blueprint for Need for Speed Heat and make a new one. Because that's what you've done. And you've just outsourced it to another team and left Ghost Games on another project. Maybe they're working on something new. I don't know. But Unbound is not Underground. It's not a classic Need for Speed game. Very far from it. Like I said, I mean, it is a good game, don't get me wrong. But the misleading press and media did exactly that. They misled people into thinking this was an Underground type game. It's not. It's Need for Speed Heat 2. Now, I carried on playing the game. As I said, I've completely finished it. Got the platinum. And it is good. It's worth the money I paid for. Would I have paid more for it? Probably not. I'm really glad that I didn't spend the full 70 and I got it for 45. Generally, you can find it for around 40, 45 still now. It's not really come down much more than that. And it is worth the money at that price. And I had my money's worth. I enjoyed it. But is it a classic Need for Speed game? No, it really isn't. Like, the game is good and it is fun. It's worth the money, but it's not blown me out of the waters as being a return to form from the PS2 Xbox era. Like, it's missing that je ne sais quoi that really made Need for Speed. And I think half the issue is they brought out the competition. Now, I would love to see Burnout Paradise 2 or Burnout Revenge remake or a remaster, or Burnout Revenge 2 even. Like, but Burnout Paradise 2 would be amazing because Criterion Games know how to make good Burnout games. And ever since practically Burnout Paradise, EA basically just forgot about Burnout and they just left Criterion Games to be a B team, basically. They just concentrate on the Need for Speed franchise. The franchise of Burnout is still there. They could still make Burnout Paradise 2. They just choose not to. Now, the big difference is Need for Speed is a very different game to Burnout. Yeah, they were in direct competition, and that's why EA bought out Criterion Games. But that doesn't mean you had to stop making Burnout. Burnout was an amazing game. You could do one year, then the next one the next year. You don't need to do a Need for Speed every year. Or every 2 years even. You could do a Need for Speed, wait a year, do a Burnout, wait a year, Need for Speed. People get bored of playing Need for Speed all the time. Like, Burnout is such a different style of racing game that you could easily put it out there and it not interfere with Need for Speed. The problem is they used to release Burnout and Need for Speed from Criterion used to release Burnout at the same time as EA released Need for Speed, and they were in direct competition because they're basically arcade racing games. They just are very different in many different areas. And EA need to wake the hell up and make Burnout Paradise 2 and leave Need for Speed to be Need for Speed. Like, I can't see what the problem is, really. Like, but the top and bottom of it is this is a good game. It's a solid 7 and a bit. And you should buy it and play it. It's enjoyable, it's fun. It just gets a bit stale and grindy when you get towards the end of the trophy pack to get the platinum if you're going to run for it. And yeah, it's well worth the money. It's better than Heat. It is slightly better than Heat. And like I said, Payback's just Forza Horizon with the Need for Speed logo on it. But anyway, that's going to do it for the video. I'll catch you on the next one. If you do want to comment down below, it'd be great. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye.